Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and again on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on KATX and KWBY as Angela Robinson joins Stace Gaddy to share important financial information to help you live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, estate and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Welcome in, everyone, to the first Life Planning 101 of the brand new year. I'm Stace Gaddy, and as the nice announcer man said, Angela Robinson, our expert and guest, is in studio. Happy New Year to you, ma'am.
Happy New Year. 2016. I know. I am so excited it's here. I cannot tell you. You know, if you ever have one of those years in your life and you just are waiting for it to end, and 2015 was one of those. We had quite a bit of family events occur, so we're looking forward to a great 2016.
Onward and upward.
Onward and upward, yes. And we have a great topic to start off the new year, because I know a lot of people make these New Year's resolutions, and even if you don't make New Year's resolutions, you tend to think at the new year of what you want to get accomplished in the year, or what's on top of your mind, or some of the messes that we have. And one of those I know is with people's finances. And so one of the things that is always a question with people is about annuities. And the reason why is because annuities typically have offered this very simple menu, and it's called a reliable income for life. So the question is that really a good thing for your situation or a bad thing for your situation? Because there is a ton of controversy around annuities. Some advisors, they use them as a cookie cutter, and they just use them for every single client in the same way. And then some advisors despise annuities altogether. And then there's the, majority of advisors that fall between the two extremes. You've got some of them that typically kind of use them as a cookie cutter here or there. And then you have some of them really are solutions-based advisors that consider what the exact client's needs are before deciding what type of annuity they go into. And I think a lot of this has to do with the type of advisor you're working with. And I have a little joke to share with you this morning. And I think I'm going to have to do some pre-explaining to this joke, okay? Some definitions. We got to work on some definitions here. We all know that insurance salespeople sell annuities. Typically, you have someone that's what we call in a captive insurance company. That means they can only sell their company's products, and they sell those types of annuities. And so you have these insurance salespeople, and then you have what you call an underwriter. And an underwriter, when you go out and you purchase insurance, they're going to look at your health, they're going to look at your age, they're going to look at your history of what you've done in your life and decide if you can be written for that insurance contract. That's called an underwriter. And then you have an actuary. And an actuary is the person that actually builds out the products, okay? And the way that they do that is they look at history, they look at life expectancies, they look at do men die before women, or different things like that, and they build out the product and say, okay, based on this, we can afford to do this. Which an actuary, by the way, is the reason that insurance companies have more money than any other companies in the planet because of an actuary. So here's the joke. You have three people that are riding in a car together. You have a salesperson, an underwriter, and the actuary. The salesperson has his foot on the gas, while the underwriter has his foot on the brake, and then you've got the actuary looking out the back window to tell them where to go. Okay? Yeah, so little corny, I know, but the whole point of that is the complexity that's involved in this. Because if you think about it, if you think about going to a casino, if you go to a casino, do you really go to a casino with the expectation that the casino doesn't have their own best interest in mind? They have your best interest to hand you out money?
You better not.
You better not. Well, an insurance company in some ways is the same way. If you really think about it, are they just going to hand you out money, or are they going to protect their company to make sure that they're able to provide future values and services? Now, I'm not going to say that they're greedy like a casino is, because, insurance companies have been around for hundreds of years now, and they've been very successful. And there's never been a claim filed that wasn't legitimate that hasn't been paid by an insurance company. And why is that? Because they know that if they ever do that, that's the last day anyone's going to sell an insurance policy, right? Yep. So, insurance companies have a great brand that they can guarantee by their own issue. And in some circumstances, I hear people talk about it and say, well, I'd rather be guaranteed by an insurance company than the government any day. And there's some truth behind that because of these actuaries, because of how smart they are, and because of their reliability. So when we talk about being able to gain a reliable income for life from an annuity, That sounds pretty good. In fact, most people, I think, would want that, a reliable income for life. But the real question is, what is the real story behind annuities? Okay, why are there these two extremes with advisors, the ones that love them and use them for every client just the same, and the ones that despise all of them? So why do those viewpoints exist? And then really, what's right for you? What is your situation like? And we're going to address that after we come back from the break. Before we go into the break, I do want to bring two quick points to mind. This is going to bring up, I suppose, a lot of questions because of the subject matter and because a lot of people actually have annuities. So we are going to do a free annuity review to the best question asked this week. And I do want to remind, because Stace brought something up before the show, and I want to remind people that confidentiality is our highest priority with each of you. So if you have a question, you don't want your name mentioned, you don't even want your question to be brought up on the show, that is fine. Let us know. We'd love to have your questions anyways, because we can always address things to be able to help our shows in the future get better. And I know people have individual questions, especially when things get this complicated. So email us, lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com with your question. Best question of the week, of course, gets that free annuity review, so you don't want to miss that. And then also, you're going to want to listen intently in the show, because we are going to continue with our New Year's resolution tradition and give away a free 1-month gym membership to your gym of choice. And it's going to be on our trivia that's going to be at the very end of the show. So don't miss out, and don't miss what the extremes are all about with these annuities. Are they good or are they bad?
There's your topic, ladies and gentlemen. Annuities. Annuities, good or bad. Always some great information right here on Life Planning 101. We're going to take a quick break and come right back with more with Angela Robinson from Kennedy Financial Services here in Eastland. Stay with us.
My name is Angela Robinson of Kennedy Financial Services. Our tagline has always been helping people live life on purpose. So what does that really mean? It means whether you're making a decision or avoid making a decision, you have made a decision. It is called living life by default. We have seen default decisions cost families millions of dollars, and in some cases tear the family members apart. Join us on Mondays at 8:30 a.m. on KATX and Saturdays at 9 a.m. on either KATX or KWBY for a chance to learn about the most important decisions you will face regarding your future. Don't miss a chance to get your questions answered. Email us at lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com and we will address them on our next program. And if you missed Life Planning 101 this week, you can still tune in online at katxradio.com. Don't miss this week, because it possibly could be the one piece of advice that changes your life. Securities and investment advisory services offered through VSR Financial Services Incorporated, a registered investment advisor and member of FINRA SIPC. Kennedy Financial Services is not owned or controlled by VSR Financial Services Incorporated.
Welcome in, folks, to the second segment this morning of Life Planning 101. I'm Stace Gaddy. You are fantabulous. First program of the brand new year. Angela Robinson, it's great to see you. Looking forward to this new year. And our topic today, annuities, good or bad?
Yes, and we all know that annuities, they've either got people that love them and swear by them, and then people that despise them. And there's advertisements all over. If you ever drive into the Metroplex and you're listening to WBAP, my gosh, you'll get both. You'll get both extremes. So what is going on there? What is the real story behind all this, and why is it? And I think I need to start with that there is a fact that there is not a single investment out there that can be used as a cookie cutter. Not a single one. And there may be one that you can use in several different families' portfolios, but not everyone's, okay? And I want you to think about why. Think about your personal situation in comparison to your next door neighbor. And the reason I choose your next door neighbor is because most likely we live in a community where we share the same size of home, so we have the same value in our home. So, that's probably the closest relation you can make. So here you have your next door neighbor. Do you think you have everything in common? Do you have the same jobs, income, savings, future and goals? Your family dynamics, are they the same? Are your families just exactly alike? Are they dysfunctional in different degrees? Because we all know they're dysfunctional.
You may not have any of those things in common.
That's right. And what about your feelings about risk? I know that varies big time. You've got people that are big risk takers, and you have some that don't want to take any risk at all. And the thing is that I really highly doubt that y'all have anything in common that comes to your financial situation. So therefore, what fits in your investment portfolio is not going to fit in his. And no matter what it is, it doesn't matter if it's an annuity, it doesn't matter if it's stocks or bonds or whatever it is. So on the flip side of this, though, an annuity is a tool for investing. Some people may never need it, never ever need it. For some, it may be the only solution to their issues, believe it or not. And the truth is annuities get a bad rap because the majority of them range from either bad to horrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they really do. I would put 95% annuities out there are really bad to horrible. And that's really sad. It makes me sick. It makes me sick to my stomach when I see an annuity come into our office and I realize that the person sold this just to get a commission because it doesn't have anything good with it. But this isn't true for every annuity. And I think that's really important to note. There's an old joke. You make your fortune in the headline of an annuity and the fine print takes it all away. and that's very true when it comes to annuities. And, there's an old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. That can be true with annuities. Now, there are great annuities out there that you're thinking, wow, how do they do that? And that's a great question. Ask them, how do they do that? Get the actuarial information out or read that fine print. I can't tell you how important the fine print is when it comes to an insurance contract of any kind, especially an annuity. So when considering an annuity, you have to look at the company itself, the type of annuity, the cost of the annuity, the investment options and or restrictions of that annuity, or if it's not an annuity that has investment options in there, what about indexing strategies or the interest rate involved or the cost of the investment options or the income and withdrawal riders? What's the difference between those two? Because there is a big difference between an income rider and a withdrawal rider. The death benefit or an enhanced death benefit if it has that. What about the costs of all these riders? What about the surrender period and the costs of those or any other attribute of the policy? Are you confused yet? Okay, good. That's the point.
You lost me at hello.
That's the point. That's exactly the point. So, and then you add to all that the fine print, like we said before, because remember that big print giveth and the little print taketh away. Okay? It is so important to remember that. And it's always important to look at the carrier. Can they take away or change what the annuity was originally purchased to do? Did you know they could actually do that?
No.
Yeah. If it's in that fine print, they sure can.
Read the fine print.
That's exactly
Wow.
right. Yeah. And you just don't think about that. And I think a lot of people, and I'm not going to say, we do I'll back up here. We do what we call a Colby assessment in our office when we hire people. Mm-hmm. And this Colby assessment talks about the cognitive side of your brain, which is what you're made up. It's how God made you. It doesn't matter if you take it when you're 12 years old or you take it when you're 60. It's the way your brain processes information. And there's 4 categories that it gives you different scores. Mm-hmm. So one of these is called a implementer. It's like how well do you build things or like to take things apart and rework things. I'm like a 0. Mm-hmm. I can't do any of that. Then you have a quick start. Someone that's always coming up with ideas ranging from the highest end to the lowest end. They absolutely can't change. If they get into something, they don't want any change whatsoever.
Okay.
So you range in that scale. Or you have someone that's called a follow through, and they follow through to every tiny detail, or they just want to get the job done. It ranges in that scale. Mm-hmm. And then you have what you call a fact finder, someone that really researches everything to the nth degree, which would be a 10, of course, right? To someone that doesn't research at all. And I think a good question to ask is, how much research do you perform as the advisor to me? Because you really want somebody that has an 8, 9, or 10 fact finder on your side, because they're going to make sure and look through all this fine print and they're going to know exactly what they're offering you. They're going to be a lot more skeptical, and that's really, really important. The big thing to really realize is that annuities are so complicated, and this is just in pure honesty. When we review something that we sold over a year ago, now granted, we're independent, so we sell from almost any carrier out there. So we never hardly ever use the same product for everyone. So when we review something we sold, we have to call the provider a year afterwards and get them to remind us exactly how the policy works, tell us about any changes in the policy, yada, yada, yada. And we're the advisor, not the client. So that's a big, big thing.
Sure.
Okay. So when we come back, we're going to talk about, is it really worth the hassle? Is it worth the hassle then to have an annuity? And there are reasons why it is. So you don't want to miss this.
Answer me again. That's called the Colby scale?
Colby, Kolbe. Yep.
Because that sounds valuable in a lot of walks of life.
Oh, yes. We use it as our whole staffing area. We want compliments. We don't want everybody being like me, or else everything would be broke in the office.
Well, at least you won't take anything apart, though.
That's right. So very, very interesting.
Very good. You're listening to Life Planning 101 with Angela Robinson. I'm Stace Gaddy. Keep it right here. We have one final segment coming up. Welcome in, folks, to the final segment of Life Planning 101. I'm Stace Gaddy, our guest and expert. If you're just joining us, Angela Robinson from Kennedy Financial Services here in Eastland. Great program again. First one of the new year and already off to a great start. Talking about annuities today.
That's right. And we've put a lot of scary things out there, talking about the big print giveth and the little print taketh away, and how important it is to really read all that fine print, and wondering if annuities can really be a good solution, because like we talked about before, the majority go from bad to worse. They're not really good product because the costs are real high, or what's involved with them just isn't what it says it should be. And so the question I think everybody's probably asking is this really worth all the hassle then? Are annuities even worth it? If they're so complicated and they're so risky, is it worth it? And the answer is it can be.
Okay.
So, let me provide you with a few real-life scenarios that we've gone through with our clients where annuities were a perfect fit. And one of these, I want you to imagine a family that they're earning money right now, accumulating money, and they're in that highest federal tax bracket. So if they were to let the government just take every dollar they have, they're paying over 40%. Actually, if you include all their taxes, over 50% of their income goes back to the government. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what they're trying to accomplish to do is not pay any more tax than they possibly have to at this point in time. Now, when they retire, they expect their income to drop dramatically. So an annuity might be a good fit here because it allows assets to accumulate tax deferred. So they don't have to pay taxes as you buy and sell funds or investments inside of there like you would in what we call a traditional joint account or an individual account where you pay taxes as you go. And if you actually looked at a comparison, a side-by-side comparison of deferred growth versus paying taxes as you go, is that right? I mean, it's dramatic. Very dramatic, especially over a 20, 30-year period. So that can be a really good reason to be able to do an annuity. Now, granted, here's the downside to that. And again, where it gets complicated. The gains in income that come out of that annuity are going to be taxed as ordinary income rather than capital gains rates. So my point to you is to make sure that you're doing very, very high due diligence in your planning here in advance to know which strategy is right for you. Or let's imagine another family. They just can't stand the thought of seeing their account balances go down. Can't stand it. They've worked so hard for their money, and they can't stand to see the fluctuation in the market. Now, we've talked so many times on the show about what we call going broke safely, right? You remember that?
Yes.
Okay, you put your money in cash or CDs, and is it going to outpace the cost of living going up every year?
No.
No, it's not. If the cost of living is going up by 4%, which we believe it is right now, and a CD is paying you what?
2?
Okay.
1?
I hope. So
is it 1?
0.5 to 1.
0.5%?
Yeah,
Golly.
so if it's paying you, let's say best case scenario, you can find one paying you 1, okay? You're actually losing 3% every year. Mm-hmm. You're going broke safely. You may not see it in your account balance, but
Do
you
you
are
hear
going
that,
broke
folks?
safely.
I mean, that's reality.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but that's reality.
It is.
Continue.
It is. So how do you do that? Well, an annuity might be a good fit here. There's actually annuities that allow the guarantee of your principal by that insurance company, but they can participate in the upside of some indexing strategy like the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones or a world index or something like that. So you might have more potential to gain more than that 0.5 or 1% that you get in the CD and at least keep up with inflation. So that might be a good fit or a good reason to have an annuity. Or let's talk last about a death benefit side to this. What about someone that's uninsurable? Let's take a spouse, a husband. Say he's uninsurable, he has terminal cancer, and he's got this cash sitting there, and he wants to leave as much money as he can to his heirs. But he can't get insurance, right? Because if he gets life insurance, nobody's going to insure him if they know he's terminal for cancer.
Right.
But what he can do, if he finds one, an appropriate annuity with what we call an enhanced death benefit, where he could immediately get more money to his heirs than what he put into it. And it's guaranteed. Would that be cool?
That would be very cool.
And they're there. They're out there. You just have to look for them. You have to find the right ones. So there's 3 great scenarios of reasons that you would want to put money into annuities. Okay, they're not for everybody, but again, I think it's important that you note 2 things, or actually 3 things, right? First of all, they're not a cookie cutter solution. Mm-hmm. We discussed that. At the same time, they shouldn't be ignored as a potential solution altogether because they're too valuable in those rare cases. And the key with all of this is that you don't work with someone that's captive and has to sell their product. You don't work with somebody that's their gimmick, annuities, lifetime income, da-da-da-da-da. If you hear that, run.
Run away.
Okay? And you don't work with someone that says, I despise annuities, never use them. You work with someone that's a solutions-based advisor that goes through your current situation, your future, your goals, your family dynamics, everything, your risk tolerance, everything, before you even talk about investments. And then you figure out what is right for you. You know, we have a saying around our office. We say it all the time. We say it with our clients. We say it with our team members. Don't try to do the job alone. There's no reason to try to do the job alone. If you do, the chances of you failing are very high. It's just
something like this, you need experts.
You do. You need someone to help you walk through all that fine print that we talked about.
Yes.
That's too important. Couple things here. First of all, we've talked about several times. I want to reiterate, we want your questions. And we want to reiterate that they are confidential. If you don't want your name or the question itself to be addressed during our shows, make sure you just put that on the email and we'd be happy to address those questions individually and privately. Best question each week gets a prize. And this week, we're going to do a free annuity review because that is what we're talking about. So email us, lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Don't not take advantage of that. It's too important. And then also, we're giving away a free 1-month gym membership, okay, because we are celebrating the new year and all those New Year's resolutions. And here is your trivia for today.
All right,
okay?
Here we go.
What investment can be used as a cookie cutter for every single person? Life planning at Kennedy-financial.com. This one most people should get. So I remind you, email us quickly because yours, if you're not first, you don't get that free month of gym membership. So make sure you email us, lifeplanning at Kennedy-financial.com. What investment can be used as a cookie cutter for every single person? Okay. We had a great topic today, lots of information about annuities. And I know this is something that we're going to continue to talk about because as time gets more complicated, our economy gets more complicated, people are looking for that reliable income for life. And they can provide that. But again, you have to be very, very careful at what you're looking at. Again, my name is Angela Robinson with Kennedy Financial Services here in Eastland, Texas. We sure appreciate you listening to the show and wish you a very, very happy New Year and God bless.
Thank you, as always. Gigantic round of applause, Angela Robinson and everybody at Kennedy Financial. Really do appreciate it. Annuities, good or bad, is the topic. And don't forget, folks, you can go online, katxradio.com or kwbyradio.com, to hear this program in its entirety and read an accompanying article. And again, rebroadcast 9 a.m. on Saturdays on both stations. Bless you. We'll see you next time for more Life Planning 101.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and again on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on KATX and KWBY for more Life Planning 101.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through VSR Financial Services Incorporated, a registered investment advisor and member of FINRA SIPC. Kennedy Financial Services is not owned or controlled by VSR Financial Services Incorporated.